Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides on political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello everyone, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major stories, Lagos State Governor Babátúndé Fáṣọlá denies allegations that the state must manage the $90 million loan given to it by the World Bank to improve standard of education. Also in this program, Independent National Electoral Commission boasts ahead 2015 general polls aftermath success of the governorship election in Ekiti State. Federal government solicits support of major players in the north to end constant communal and other violent clashes. And outside Nigeria, Libya set to elect a new parliament after months of political chaos and growing unrest.
Business news tonight. Domestic demand grows for refined energy products in Nigeria.
And on sports, Nigeria expressed readiness to battle Argentina in the final group match at the ongoing World Cup in Brazil.
And now the details will begin in Abuja, where the National Economic Council today considered a 30-year blueprint designed to fast-track infrastructural development in the country. The National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan is the brainchild of the National Planning Commission and is meant to run from 2014 to 2043. The council, chaired by Vice President Namadi Sambo, deliberated on the draft and concluded on the various sectors to focus on. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, members of the Economic Council reviewed the rehabilitation of roads and rail lines will be given top priority.
What we are developing is not only for federal government alone, but it's also for the subnational level of government to key in. But before this presentation, we've held a lot of consultation with all the stakeholders. We went for zonal validation in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. This has taken us over 1.5 years to do, but what we presented today, we're able to get some input from the governors.
We need to do for us to address the infrastructural deficit that our country has suffered over the years. There were comments by virtually all the governors present to the effect that it was a web research presentation that was made. It's comprehensive, but there are areas that need some input, more input from us, so that it will be a document that will have the buy-in of every major stakeholder.
Lagos State Governor Babátúndé Fáṣọlá has denied the allegation that his administration has diverted the World Bank loan meant for the development of public secondary schools through the ECO project program. Abiola Luwole's report is presented from our studios. Governor Fáṣọlá refuted the allegation at the launch of the book titled Lagos Eco Project, A Legacy of Excellence, while pointing out the need to build on the success recorded in the state secondary education. Fáṣọlá says government has ensured a purposeful use of the World Bank loan.
But perhaps you may have heard that some people have made unsubstantiated allegations against us that we have stolen World Bank money. Some of you may have heard it. So this occasion really is important because, as I've said from the very first beginning, in this government, our collateral is our collective integrity. We have nothing to hide.
Lagos has 667 public junior and secondary schools demanding for the attention of government. In order to catch up with such demand, Lagos State received a loan which has been instrumental to the development of the state public schools recorded since 2009.
The World Bank gave us a project, a minimum project indicator to train 5,385 teachers on leadership and other core subjects. Within that 4 years, we trained 16,445 teachers. And with that means we accomplished 305% achievement.
The book is a compilation of the activities of the Lagos Eco Project since 1999. The People's Democratic Party has temporarily lost its bid to unseat 5 state governors that defected to the All Progressives Congress. A federal high court in Abuja ruled that the governors were not properly served with court summons and decided to postpone the matter indefinitely.
It was a case that the ruling PDP was so sure would swing in its favor. The party had 6 months ago challenged the legality of 5 governors defecting to APC and still remain in office. The governors are Abdul Fattah Ahmed, Kwara, Rotimi Amechi, Rivers, Murtala Nyako of Adamawa, Aliyu Wamako of Sokoto, and Rabiu Kwankwaso of Kano. But the snitch is that PDP had not been able to properly serve the governors with court papers. PDP had claimed that in line with the court order obtained on December 13, the originating summon was taken to 6 Bissau Street, Wuse 2, but discovered that the APC had vacated the office and relocated to a new office at 40 Blantyre Street, also in Abuja. The governors on their part insisted that no legal action has been instituted against them until they have been properly served with court summons and other processes. But ruling on the disputed mode of service, Justice Gabriel Kolawole held that PDP failed to follow procedures allowed by law in reaching the defendants since December 10, when the court action was instituted. The court agreed with defense lawyers that the defendants have not been served with court papers, and as such, the court cannot assume jurisdiction until effective service is done. He therefore ordered PDP, represented by Alex Izion, to do the needful before the case can be revived for adjudication.
The defendant have been disputing it, that since they left the Wuse Zone 6 to Wuse 2, there cannot be a valid service. And the court said, well, since that is fundamental, which is really, I agree, we will go back now to serve them in their new address. It's just simple. It's just that it took us 6 months to resolve this issue of whether to go back to Wuse 2 or what the belief did. Because it was the belief initiative that put us into this trouble.
The case has now been adjourned indefinitely, pending when the governors are served properly.
The Kano State House of Assembly has passed into law the State Rape Prohibition Bill 2014. The law provides a maximum of life sentence for convicted rapists. The new law also stipulated an additional fine of 200,000 naira. The clerk of the House, Lawal Badamosi, said in addition, the law requires the courts to demand compensations for rape victims. The clerk said the new law also has provisions for homosexuals and lesbians. The House has proceeded on recess for the Ramadan fast and will be resuming on August 11. About 38 persons were killed in 2 separate attacks in 2 villages in Songa local government area of Kaduna State. Songa Council Chairman Emmanuel Adamu said the attacks were carried out simultaneously. Adamu said the gunmen unleashed mayhem on Akpon village in Nandu district and Kabamu village in Fadankashi, all of Numana district. He added that the victims included women and children. He said security agencies were tracking the attackers while measures have been adopted to forestall recurrence. Meanwhile, Kaduna State Governor Mukhtar Yero has called for calm and condemned the attacks. Yero said the attack is a provocative attempt by some unpatriotic people to cause confusion and unrest. The governor called on the people to remain calm as investigation had commenced to fish out the perpetrators. Meanwhile, suspected Boko Haram militants have abducted more than 60 women and girls, some as young as 3 in the latest kidnappings in northeast Nigeria. Analysts say the kidnapping, which happened during the raid on Kumabzalu village in Damboa district of Borno State, could be an attempt by the group to refocus attention on its demands for the release of militant fighters. A resident who fled to the Borno State capital, Maiduguri, said more than 30 men were killed during the raid.
These girls goes beyond just these girls alone. It's a message to the entire nation. And the objective of that message is to deepen or to amplify citizens' fear in citizens that are terrorized already. The principle we are maintaining is that justice, no matter how long it takes, will always be delivered. And the principle we are maintaining is this: if need be, we are bearing our losses. The pain is a lot, yes, but we are not terrified. We refuse to be terrified, and we will bring those people to justice, one by one. We need to open one eye and help the Nigerian governments, one, to know that there must be a declaration of a state of war. This is not war against one village in northeastern part of the country. This is not a war against a little hamlet or one little community. We're dealing here with a war against the sovereignty of Nigeria.
President Goodluck Jonathan is soliciting the support of major players in northern Nigeria to end the spate of clashes between farmers and herdsmen in that part of the country. This is noted as necessary for the success of the transformation agenda of his administration. President Jonathan, who was represented by Vice President Amadi Sambo at a conference in Kaduna, lamented that no state in northern Nigeria is free of conflict.
We expect this conference to come up with key resolutions that will enhance mutual coexistence, peace, and economic development, not only for pastoralists, but for the African continent in general. Let me assure you that at government level, we will study the outcome of this conference with a view to helping in fostering dialogue as a means of resolving disputes. And we urge participants to come up with actionable points that will help improve government policies and plans for a peaceful and prosperous Nigeria.
The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar, has decorated 9 newly promoted senior police officers with new ranks. The officers include the Force Public Relations Officer, Frank Umba, who is now an Assistant Commissioner of Police. Per Samuel has details of the ceremony.
These officers and men are some of the over 210 police personnel found worthy to be promoted to the next rank. The police leadership considered them to have discharged their duties professionally at different levels, hence the need for more responsibility. Inspector General Mohammed Abubakar did not mince words when he addressed the newly promoted officers.
The fact that you are promoted means you have more challenges, you have added responsibilities, and your mannerism must change. If you are a commissioner of police and now you become an assistant inspector general of police, it means that you have to do more, you have to behave more, and we expect leadership in all respect of your actions.
One after the other, the senior officers were decorated with their new ranks.
You can't get it. You can't get it.
The newly officers promised to be more committed to their duties amidst challenges facing the image of the force.
Everybody, standard of innovation, standard of hard work, standard of good image. We promise you you're going to take it me to higher heights. On behalf of the committees, we say big thank you to you.
It will be recalled that the Police High Command recently promoted over 210 senior officers for carrying out their duties diligently. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
INEC is in upbeat mood after the governorship election in Ekiti. Find out what they've got up their sleeves shortly after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
To have you back, you're watching CoreTV Primetime News live from Lagos. Moving on now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is in an upbeat mood after the success of the governorship election in Ekiti State. It's now looking forward to a more credible outing across the country in 2015. INEC Chairman Atairu Jaga said this on the sidelines of a meeting with the leadership of registered political parties in Abuja.
The successful conduct of free, fair and peaceful elections in Ekiti is a good omen for the subsequent elections to come and indeed for the satisfaction of the aspiration of Nigerians for a consolidated democracy. The coming election in Osun State, God willing, should on all counts be better, and the 2015 general elections must be the best.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Labour Congress has congratulated the governor-elect of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, on his victory at the just concluded gubernatorial election. National President of the Congress, Abdulwahid Umar, gave the congratulatory message in Abuja. NLC says it believed that the conduct was inspiring and marks the beginning of a new era in election history of Nigeria. Umar urged politicians to emulate Fayemi as people could not be winners at all times, and congratulated the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, for the peaceful conduct of the poll. And still in Ekiti, incumbent Governor Kayode Fayemi has received the Local Government Creation Committee report. The committee was inaugurated to evaluate the possibility of creating additional local governments in the state. Let's now join Rashid for details.
The state of Nigeria is one of the last states created on the 1st of October 1996. The then federal government under late General Sani Abacha created additional 6 states to bring to 36 the total number of states. Ekiti State has 16 local government areas. Governor Fayemi had on the 15th of January inaugurated a committee to see to the possibility of creating additional local government areas.
In terms of reference of the committee are implementing the procedure for the creation of additional government areas out of the existing ones in the state, in line with the provisions of the Constitution. 2. To make extensive consultations with communities and their leaders. To invite regional memoranda and make recommendations to the government.
In his remark, Fayemi says the committee's job and the government's step should not be treated with politics, but should be seen as an answer to the aspiration of Ekiti people.
There were those who felt at the time that this committee started work that it was just a political gimmick. But we knew we wanted to respond to the genuine yearnings of our people and their passionate zeal for local government creation.
Fayemi promised to expedite action on the committee's report.
Establishing within the next 24 hours a white paper committee to produce a white paper on the recommendations of the committee so that we can have it ready for the State Executive Council meeting tomorrow, and with a view to pronouncing on this and taking the next steps in law, which I believe would be a referendum by the State Electoral Commission.
Local government councils are the closest to rural dwellers, and many communities have agitated the creation of more local government areas, saying it will enhance development, especially in the rural areas. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Cameroon aviation sources say a four-seater plane flying from Nigeria to Gabon has disappeared. The plane, owned by the U.S. company Global Aviation, took off from Kano in northern Nigeria at 1800 hours on Monday en route to Libreville in Gabon, where it was scheduled to arrive at 2300 hours after a stopover in Douala, Cameroon. However, the station says the plane, with only the American pilot on board, did not make it to Douala. It added that the last contact the plane had with the control tower took place in Mongo, which is 2 hours flight from the Cameroonian economic capital. Search and rescue operations led by Cameroon civil aviation authorities have also yielded no result. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency says the four-seater light aircraft that allegedly got missing is not in the country's airspace. The managing director of NAMA, Ibrahim Abdusalam, says the aircraft had been handed over to the Cameroon Airspace Authority before the incident occurred within their airspace. President Goodluck Jonathan has performed the groundbreaking ceremony for Abuja's Centenary City project. The complex, which is meant to commemorate 100 years of the nation's amalgamation, is expected to cost 2.9 trillion naira or $8.6 billion. President Jonathan described the project that was designed to cover 1,200 hectares of land as a symbol of the nation's unity.
New national economic renaissance, offering free trade status, outstanding infrastructure, secured business environment, and efficient transport services. This centenary city promised a unique and innovative global standard in real estate creativity. It creates an environment alive and productive with many unique sub-themes, including a prominent cultural core with various symbols of Nigeria's unity and strength, a green city concept, as well as presidential archives that will house the history of our political development.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. Up next is Business News with Sabena Izoko shortly after this break.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
CoreTV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. The show to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 014-533-407.
A 24-hour news station.
Hello there and welcome to the world of business. The rapidly increasing Nigerians' domestic energy demand combined with the inability to boost output is cutting into the OPEC's members' crude oil that is available for exports. Demand for refined products such as petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel among Nigerians' 170 million people is growing amid a booming economy forecast by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, to expand by 7.1% this year up to 6.4% in 2013. The fuel subsidy payment cost the federal government about 1 trillion naira in 2013. The Nigerian's oil production, which has never risen above 3 million barrels per day, now hovers below 2 million barrels per day, putting its reserve to production ratio at 52 years, higher than is observed in other mature oil production nations. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, set aside 400,000 barrels a day out of Nigeria's current daily production of about 1.9 million barrels for its 4 refineries and crude for products swaps. Nigeria cost $7 billion in revenue in 2011 to oil theft, about a quarter of this year's national budget, according to the central bank. The federal government has spent the sum of 47.57 billion naira in 2013 fiscal period to service debts owed. Multilateral institution documents obtained from the Budget Office of the Federation have revealed. The Budget Office, in its 2013 Consolidated Budget Implementation Report, jointly signed by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, and the Director General BOF, Dr. Bright Okogu, said the amount was used to settle debt obligations to institutions such as multilateral creditors and non-Paris Club bilateral creditors, among others. The report put the country's external debt stock as of December 31st, 2013 at $8.821 billion, indicating an increase of 6.75% over $8.264 billion recorded in the third quarter of the year. A breakdown of the external debt stock shows that the multilateral debts amounted to $6.275 billion, non-Paris Club bilateral debts amounted to $1.025 billion, while the commercial Eurobond accounted for the balance of $1.521 billion. Okonjo-Iweala had, during a presentation on the 2-year performance of the Ministry of Finance, said $12 billion, that's about 1.92 trillion naira funding agreement, was sealed by the federal government to finance the real sector of the economy. The amounts, according to her, was sourced from the financial institutions such as the World Bank, African Development Bank, China Export-Import Bank, Islamic Development Bank at concessional single-digit interest rate and moratorium of about 40 years. The Nigerian cement manufacturers has a slow rate of 2014 as revenues for the firms in the sector grew at a slower pace in the first quarter than in the first quarter of 2013. The cumulative revenues of the four dominant cement makers, Dangote, Lafarge, Ashaka, and Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, as reported in their first quarter 2014 results, rose by 9.5% to 142 billion naira from 129.71 billion naira. However, the poor state of housing and road infrastructures in Nigeria has been pushing demand for construction materials, thereby bringing about tremendous growth potentials for the companies in the building and industrial goods sector. The country's rapid rate of urbanization, which stands at 51%, according to the United Nations estimate, is also pushing demand for the product. Despite some challenges faced by these companies, analysts believe that the introduction of the Mortgage Refinancing Corporation is expected to give further boost to top line and bottom line performances. The Quotation Committee of the National Council of the Nigerian Stock Exchange has approved the delisting of some entities from the daily official list pursuant to provision of the Green Book of the exchange, specifically Clause 15 of the General Undertaking. The exchange decided to delist these entities because of their failure to file quarterly and annual financial statements as required under the listing rules. These entities are Starcom PLC, Dark Communication PLC, Investment and Allied Assurance PLC, Gold Link Insurance PLC, Pinnacle Point Group PLC, AdSwitch PLC, Afro Oil PLC, Rukana Industry PLC, IPWA PLC, West African Glass Industry PLC, Nigeria Wire and Cable PLC, UTC PLC, FTN Cocoa Processing PLC, G Kappa PLC, Big Tree PLC, and MTech PLC, and amongst others. The Nigerian Stock Exchange noted that this serves as a notice of delisting, and the entities will be delisted effective 3 months from the date of being notified. And on the stock market report, the equity closed on a positive note today as the Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index opened at 41,577.47 points to close at 41,740.54 points at 163.07 points at a higher rate as a result of price gains of the sustained by the higher capitalized stocks. Also, the market capitalization rose about 0.39% to close at 13.782 trillion naira against 13.728 trillion naira posted on Monday. The investors on the Nigerian Stock Exchange traded on a total of 622.38 million shares, worth 7.76 million naira in 7,921 deals. The volume represented an increase of 19.84% over 519.34 million shares valued at 5.36 billion naira, exchanged in 5,917 deals on Monday. The Nigerian brewers led the gainers chart, followed by MRS Oil, Dangote Cement, Lafarge, WAPCO, and Guinness PLC. On the other hand, Seplat topped the losers chart, followed by Care PLC, Okomo Oil, GlaxoSmithKline, and Ashaka Cement, respectively. And now here are the top 5 traded stocks. And that's it on business news. Over to you, Tolu Ochomi. I trust you that you have some very interesting stories for us. Can't wait for it. That's in a moment.
Our style, that's what he delivered. Here's that ball storming, he takes Oyol with a flying lead.
Go, taking them out in the lead.
Some sports, I'm Tolu Ojewumi. Nigeria's goalkeeper Vincent Nyama is relishing the renewal of his rivalry with Argentina's Lionel Messi in Wednesday's closing World Cup Group F game, where the African champions are aiming to seal qualification at the last 16. Coach Stephen Keshi, appearing alongside Nyama at the pre-match press conference, hinted that defender Godfrey Obiabuna, sidelined for the Bosnia clash after an injury in the opening game, is fit again and could return to his starting 11. He dismissed insinuations that Nigeria would face Argentina solely with the objective of picking up the point that will see them cross the line into the last 16.
It's going to be a game between Nigeria and Argentina. So everyone is talking about Messi, but there's Higuain, there's Aguero, there's Di Maria, there's a whole lot of players in there. So that's what matters. How we gonna stop the team of Argentina, not how we gonna stop Messi. Messi is a genius. Messi is one of the greatest players footballers produce, but you can't rule out other players.
We did not come to World Cup to run away from or shy away from any team. Any team that comes, we just, we have to play our football. If it so be that we might fall in the same group with France after this game, so be it. So we're here to enjoy what we know how to do, and that's playing football.
The Assistant Technical Director of the Nigerian Football Federation, James Peters, has attacked Super Eagles head coach Stephen Keshi for disregarding the country's senior coach's technical input and acting as if he knew it all. James Peters, currently in Brazil for the 2014 FIFA World Cup, said efforts to provide more technical input for the Eagles technical crew had been frustrated by Keshi. He stated that this is a major problem with coaches in the country and it's not the fault of the NFF, but that of the coach. Peters said Keshi was once under their tutelage. And on Wimbledon 2014, Australian Open champion Stan Wawrinka made a solid start to his Wimbledon campaign with a straight set win over Portugal's João Sousa. The 29-year-old Swiss fifth seed beat the world number 41, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3. 14th seed Joe Wilfried Songa also advanced to the second round. Songa went through after completing a 5-set win over Austrian Jürgen Melzer. The Frenchman had led his Austrian opponent 5-4 in the decider when play was suspended on Monday evening. When play resumed, Songa needed just 4 points on his own serve, sealing victory with his 20th ace to wrap up a 6-1, 3-6, 3-6, 6-2, 6-4 success. That's all on sports tonight. Thanks for watching. Over now to Nifemi Oguntoye for the rest of the news.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Glad to have you back. Outside Nigeria now, Libyans are set to elect a new parliament in the vote seen as crucial for the future of a country hit by months of political chaos and growing unrest. Libya has been rocked by a crisis that saw two rival cabinets jostling for power, while violence raged in the east, where a rogue general is battling Islamists. Militias who helped topple Muammar Gaddafi in the 2011 NATO-backed uprising have been blamed for violence that has continued unabated since the end of the revolt. The heavily armed rebels that ousted Gaddafi have carved out their own chiefdoms in the deeply tribal country, some seizing oil terminals and crippling crude exports from a sector key to government revenues. Commentators have warned violence could mar the vote, but the authorities are confident it will go ahead without disruptions. And in Egypt, Egypt is under mounting pressure to pardon 3 Al Jazeera journalists, including Australia's award-winning Peter Grest, jailed in a ruling that sparked global outrage and fears of a growing media crackdown. Dressed in Egyptian-Canadian, Mohamed Fahmy each got 7-year terms in a Cairo court, while Egyptian producer Bah Mohammed received 2 sentences of 7 and 3 years. 11 defendants tried in absentia, including 1 Dutch journalist and 2 Britons, were handed 10-year jail terms, also on charges of aiding the blacklisted Muslim Brotherhood and spreading false news. Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop says the case
this was a highly publicized
and that she would petition
court case,
to intervene.
And the evidence that the prosecutor actually showed no crime. There was no evidence of any crime committed. These journalists were just doing their job. And if respected international journalists can be sentenced to 7 and 10 years in prison simply for doing their job, that really sends a scary message about what can people report in Egypt. The space is shrinking. This is actually even worse than the Mubarak era, where there were restrictions, but people were able to report. Now we're seeing really a clear signal to scare away journalists today that is very intimidating, that is very much geared towards supporting Sisi and bashing the Muslim Brotherhood, and actually also bashing any form of dissent. The U.S. should suspend any military aid to Egypt until it is properly certified that Egypt is on its way to a democratic transition. Other countries, including the European Union, should actually condemn what is happening, and instead of welcoming simply that Sisi's election was democratic and that Egypt is going in the right direction, when all the evidence points that actually Egypt is going backwards, and that Egypt today is a more repressive place than Egypt under Mubarak over the last few years.
To end CoreTV Primetime News, a quick reminder of our top stories. Lagos State Governor Babátúndé Fáṣọlá has denied allegations that the state mismanaged the $90 million loan given to it by the World Bank to improve standard of education. We also told you that Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has boosted ahead 2015 general polls after success of the governorship election in Ekiti State. And that's our show tonight. On behalf of the production crew, I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.